my speech, I'm going to talk to you about why elderly people should have restrictions when driving, because they cause many accidents. I talked about this for my impromptu, but I only had 2 minutes to talk about it. So this is a topic where I have like a strong opinion about old people. I guess I'm kind of biased against them behind the wheel. I'm not trying to be like mean against them, they mean well, but they shouldn't be driving. Yeah, like I said for my impromptu, there are cases in the news where you hear about like an 82-year-old crashes and kills a teenager, or an 80-year-old crashes into a house and made it with no injuries. Here's like a quick example I'm sure some of you can relate to. I'm sure that people who still have grandparents love them very much, but driving is one thing that should be taken away from them. I was 3 when my grandma passed and didn't know her too well, but from what I was told, she loved me very much. I was 10 when my grandpa passed, he was 82, and I loved him very much as he did towards me. As he aged, my mom noticed that his driving was deteriorating. So my mom took the initiative and subtly took away his driving privileges, and I'm glad that she did that, because he could have hurt someone, and then he could have, been hurt too, and that would have been bad for us. And the facts are there too. Like, I have some statistics I'll show you guys, and here's just a quick few pictures of an old driver. Like, he clearly shouldn't be driving. And this one gets me because the lady didn't even leave the post office. She was like went over that little cliff, and like, look how old she is. That's just kind of sad. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it shows on the bottom the different age groups, and what it is, the graph shows the rate at which each age group is more likely being killed while driving per distance traveled. So as you can see, the 75-year-old and older has the highest one, and the second one is the 18 to 21, so like, almost your teenager years. The research shows that as people get older, their bodies become more fragile, and as a result, more likely to be hurt or killed in a crash. This being said, older people are more likely to be killed while driving, and this also means there are factors that they can also injure bystanders. Not every elderly person is the same, but their ability to distinguish certain factors is significantly weaker than what it used to be. For example, they have slower reaction time, they suffer loss of hearing and vision, they have loss of muscle strength and flexibility, and the use of certain medication can cause drowsiness while driving. What is dangerous is if they suffer a stroke or heart attack while driving, because they just lose complete control over the car. In my opinion, I think that eyesight is what accounts for the reason why the accidents occur. Naturally, with age, vision deteriorates in a number of ways. The ways are changing, focus becomes more difficult, peripheral vision deteriorates, and colors become hard to detect. Judging distance becomes harder. Glare influences ability to see clearly, and more light is required to see clearly. For this reason, it is hard to sympathize for an older driver because there are reasons why they cause car accidents. But basically, the 60 to 74-year-old age, they, I guess they're kind of hurt indirectly while driving, because the 75-year-old, they cause like people to judge other old people, and basically like the 80 to 85-year-old range, that's when it's kind of dangerous for you to be on the road. And what doesn't make any sense is that the DMVs, they reinstate their licenses. Something that could be improved is the eyesight testing. As many people know, eyesight gets worse as you get older, and when you're around the age of 80, someone's eyesight has to be pretty limited. So in order to make sure that if elderly people want to be able to drive, the DMV should make old people take a test every 2 years, starting I think at the age of 77. And this will ensure that they have to check in, and the DMV will decide based on their testing skills if they're still eligible to drive. And I guess I trust that because the state is allowing this to happen. So those are just a few views. An opposing argument would be that elderly people should be allowed to drive, so they might defend themselves. To some people, to some old people, driving is like the last thing that they're allowed to do independently. And to some, that may be like they enjoy it on a regular basis. Like it may be they feel obligated to give a friend a ride, and it's like the last thing that they can do. Taking away their last privilege can be hard for them to accept, but Overall, they have the most experience on the road over teenagers and beginner drivers. They may drive slow, but they know what they're doing compared to a drunken teenager behind the wheel. And also, it's a select age that cause accidents. Like people in their 60s and 70s cause little to no accidents and should not pay the penalty because of 75 and 80-year-old people. One may argue that if elderly people have their driving privileges taken away, so should people with other handicaps. An older person may argue that people with disabilities should also have to take the test every 2 years because it would be unfair if they didn't. And here's another one. This is statistics that say that elderly, in the defense of the elderly people, it declined by 17% in 2000. See, it was pretty high at 6,726, and in 2009, the crashes that they caused declined by 17% to 5,593. And since 2008, people killed in crashes involving an older driver declined by 4%. So, I mean, I guess in their case, they're doing a little better. And I personally think they shouldn't be driving. Like, statistics like this don't matter to me. So, I mean, as long as they're being safe, that's all that matters. And this concludes my speech.
Okay, give you a couple minutes to write comments.